Hey everybody, my name is Kayla, and today I have a crazy story that I just felt like I needed to let everybody know because this is super crazy. Now that I look back at it though, it's funny to me, but in the moment, no, like I was really scared. But before I go into the story, I do want to put a disclaimer out there that Chris Brown had nothing to do with this. Like, I don't want anybody bashing him or anything like that, because like this is not a bashing video towards him or anything. Like, he really had nothing to do with it. Also, this is not clickbait, so you can choose to believe it or not, but I'm not the one to lie, and I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is no reason for me to lie. So anyways, let's jump right into the story. So I want to say this is like 2017. If I have the wrong year, like, to be honest, it was blurry, but I want to say it was 2017. This was when Chris Brown was having the party tour, and me and my friend had went on Groupon and we got some tickets, so you know we was kind of like in the nosebleeds, but whatever. So you know, we pre-gamed before the concert. You know how you pre-game before, like, you go into a special event or whatever. So we were drinking and picking our outfits and, you know, just having a good time. So we went to the concert. So we ended up getting to the front. So our night already started off amazing because we were like, yes, like, we're not sitting in the nosebleeds. I am bougie when it comes to concerts. I do not like to sit in the nosebleeds, but if anybody knows me, they know that I'm like a diehard fan of Chris Brown, so I was like, it's an exception for him or whatever, but I ended up getting to the front, so yeah. So anyways, so we're having a good time at the concert. It's fun, you know, playing all my favorite songs. We having a good time. So the concert ends and we're like, you know, we're not ready to go home. Originally, we were planning on just going to the concert and then going home, but we're like, you know, we want to have some fun. Like, we're still lit. Like, that concert was lit. Like, it had us turned. Like, we wanted to continue to be turned. So we went to an after party. It was uptown, which the concert, if you're familiar with Charlotte, the concert was at the Time Warner Cable Arena, which is located uptown. So we were uptown already, and Charlotte has this area where it's called the Epicenter. So that's where like all of the bars and restaurants and clubs, everything is at. So there was a few after parties going on at the Epicenter, and we went there. But of course, the party that he was in was ridiculous amount of money, and we were broke. Clearly, that's why we got tickets off of Groupon. But anyway, so so we just went to a party that they had up there that was free. So we got in for free, and that party, of course, was a dud. Like, there was barely anybody in there, which makes complete sense because it was free and everybody was going to the party where Chris Brown was at, where we wanted to be. So we're just sitting there. We're like, this party is really like killing our buzz. Like, we were, you know, having a good time. We were still lit from the concert, and we came to this weak party. Like, was really good. So one of our homeboys is in there, and you know, he was like, y'all trying to have a good time or not? So we were like, yeah. So he bought us a few drinks. We were still bored. So he was like, well, I mean, I have some Molly, if you guys want to try. So I was like, ooh, I don't know, because I've never done anything like that. And I've always been the one to be like against like any type of drugs. I mean, I just didn't feel like it was necessary. But my friend, she was like, you know, come on, like, we're bored, whatever, it's your first time, you don't have to try it again, just try it. So I mean, I'm being honest with you guys, like, yeah. So I popped a Molly, and instantly I felt my eyes going like from regular to like I don't know, I felt like freaking Superwoman. So I was like no, like, we are not staying at this party. We are not staying at this party. So my friend was like, what are we about to do? What are we about to do? I was like, we're getting into that party with Chris Brown. I don't care what we do. Like, this party is lame. We are supposed to be having fun. We're supposed to be lit. We're supposed to be having a good time. Like, no, we're about to get into that mother effing party. So she was like, okay, like, I'm following your lead, like, whatever. So we left this party and we went straight to the party where Chris Brown was. So let me tell you, this line was out the door, like, out the door. And they were charging just for you to wait in line, like, no. So we had no freaking money, like, what the heck? So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna freaking do? Like, sitting there thinking for a long time. Then, I was like, I'm about to go up to the security guard right here because I'm not playing these games and we're not waiting in line. Like, sorry, y'all. My son came in and had to take care of that really quick, but we all good. Anyways, so I was like, no, I'm not waiting in this line. I'm about to go up to the person in the front and let them know what's good. So I went up to him and I was like, sir, I'm on this list. Like, I'm not supposed to be waiting in this line. Like, I'm gonna need for you to get me in here. Like, what's good? So he was like, what's your name? So I was like, my name is Kayla and I have a +1. Like, trying to play it off cool or whatever, but, you know, I was just rolling with the punches. So he was like, I don't see your name on here. So I was like, what? I was like, do I need to call my people? Because this is really ridiculous. Like, I'm not even supposed to be out here right now. They told me to just come up here and I was supposed to go straight in. Like, what is going on? So I kind of made a scene, but not like too crazy. But I mean, I don't know. So he was just like, okay, like, you can go in there. So me and my friend, we was in there. We was like, yeah, it's lit. So when we got in there, we weren't like too far from Chris Brown, but he had like a little VIP section and he had like his friends up there and, you know, they were just drinking and having a good time. So we were just like, you know, dancing and having a good time, but we weren't in there that long because all of a sudden a fight broke out. You know, people don't know how to act, and a fight started breaking out, and so Chris Brown and his people did. So we were like, what the heck? Like, we just did all of this for nothing. I mean, we wanted to have fun, but at the same time, like, the party was pretty much over. Like, after that, people were leaving, so we were just like, whatever, like, we're about to leave too. So we were walking out. Chris Brown's tour bus was like parked in the front of the Epicenter or whatever, and he was just sitting outside. So there was like a few people surrounding him. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, he's right there. Like, I could have touched him. Like, that's how close he was. But of course it was a lot of people, and my bootleg phone wanted to be dead, so it was not even like I could have like took a picture or anything like that. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, this night is just weird. Like, it's just, what is going on? So he ends up getting on his tour bus and he leaves. So me and my friend were like, okay, we're just gonna go walk back to the car. At this point, we just need to go home. Like, there's too much going on. So when we're walking to our car, we see a tour bus like going down the road that we're going down, and they like stop. So I was like, and maybe this is because I was under the influence, I don't know, but I was like, oh my gosh, what if that's his tour bus? Like, let's go see, girl. Because, by the way, I sing and I do music, so like, that was my biggest thing too. I wanted to meet him to like sing for him, like, you know, nothing else. Like, he is cute or whatever, but, you know, I didn't want that. So I was like, oh my gosh, maybe that's his tour bus. Like, let me go over there. I could sing for him or whatever. So of course, like, my friend's like, yeah, go ahead, girl. So I go up to the tour bus and I'm like, it's two guys standing out there. So I'm like, it's Chris Brown on the tour bus. Like, I just flat out say, like, it's Chris Brown on the tour bus. So they were like, why? And I was like, because, like, no funny shit. Like, I'm not trying to, like, I'm not no groupie. Like, I'm not trying to smash, nothing like that. I was like, I literally just want to sing for him. Like, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. So, you know, can I? Like, because you never know what will happen. Somebody might hear you and be like, yeah, you know, I want to put you on a track, whatever, like, you know. And I was that confident in myself. So they were like, no, but we're Chris Brown's band members. Like, you can look us up on Google, like, we're on there. So we looked them up, of course. I'm not going to put their names out just because, like, you know, I don't want to do that or whatever. But they gave us their names, so we looked them up, and their pictures popped up, and it said, you know, they worked for Chris Brown. Everything was legit. It wasn't like a Instagram or nothing. We, like, looked them up on Google. So I was like, okay, like, all right. So they were like, so sing for us or whatever. So I was just like, whatever, I'm already here. So I started singing for them. So they were like, oh my gosh, like you are great. Like you're really, really good. You're great. They were like, so why don't you just come to Cleveland with us tonight? I'm like, wait, whoa. Cleveland? Like, I wasn't expecting for that. Like, I thought they were just gonna be like, yeah, you're really good, like we'll pass it on to him, whatever, like what's your information? No, they like wanted me to come with them. So they were like, yeah, our next stop is in Cleveland, and you know, he's looking for new artists, so this would be something good for you, like we can introduce y'all once we get there. So mind you, I want to put this out there for all the girls, do not do what I did. Like, don't go on anybody's tour bus. I don't care who they work for, I don't care. Like, no, because you don't know these people, you don't know what they're capable of doing, you don't know anything. Like, and I just wasn't I wasn't in the right mind frame. So I jumped on a bus. Like, me and my friend, we got on a bus and we went to Cleveland. So while we're on a bus, like, I don't know if you've been on a tour bus, but if you have, then you know that there's bunkers in the back. So we didn't go to the bunkers because, like, even though I was under influence or whatever, like, I still knew, like, not to do nothing like that. So we just slept, like, on the little couch areas, and they gave us blankets and pillows, and they were pretty chill. So we wake up in the morning, and that's when everything hits me. Like, I came down, like I'm back to my normal self, and I'm like, no, this is not right. And I just have like this eerie gut feeling. I'm like, this is not right. Like, why are we here? Like, I'm ready to go home. I want to go home, but I'm all the way in freaking Cleveland. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So the guy that we ended up kind of like getting attached to, we gave him the nickname Sugar Bear. So I'm not gonna put his name out, but I will call him Sugar Bear. So Sugar Bear, he was like, I got y'all, like we're getting ready to check in. He's like, I'll get y'all a room, we're gonna get y'all something to eat, like everything's gonna be cool. So I'm like, okay. And Sugar Bear seemed really, really nice. So I was like, all right. So we get into the hotel. First off, let me tell y'all, this hotel, I've never seen a hotel that looked like this ever in my life. Like, this hotel was so nice. Like, there was gates just to get to the room. Like, you had to have your room key to scan to open the gates to walk to your room. Like, that's how legit this freaking hotel was. Like, it had like water fountains in the middle, everything. It was just crazy nice. Like, I've never been in one like that before. So when we get to the little like front desk, Sugar Bear's like, oh, y'all have a seat, you know, whatever, we're checking in. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I see Chris Brown come from the corner, and I'm like, but he looks tired, and I'm not gonna sit there and act like I didn't want to be like, hey, let me sing for you right now. Like, no, like he just got off a tour bus. So I guess he checks into his room, checks in or whatever, and then goes into his room. So Sugar Bear comes to us, and he's like, well, they're out of stock of rooms right now. He was like, so y'all could just come share one with me and the other guy that we had spoken to or whatever. So he had like his own room too. So off rip, I'm like, that's sus. Like, this hotel is really nice. You mean to tell me they don't have any, like, no, like, that's just weird. They don't have any rooms. Okay, whatever. But I was just like, all right, Sugar Bear, like I said, he seemed really nice. So I was just like, all right, we found comfort in Sugar Bear. We're gonna go with him. So we went to the room. Sugar Bear, he was like that. When we got like close to his room, he's like, oh, actually y'all are gonna go with, I'll just say M for the other guy. So he was like, y'all are gonna go with M. He was like, because I have a little boo thing coming to the room. So we were like, oh, okay. He was like, but I'll come get y'all like later on. So we're like, all right. So again, like just red flag after red flag, but again, we confided in Sugar Bear. So we were just like, okay, Sugar Bear's not gonna do us any wrong. So we went into the room with M. M let us sleep in the bed, like, cause we were really tired. So he let us take a nap, and he didn't do anything. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like he didn't do anything. So he wakes us up. So he's like, hey, I have a really important business call, and unfortunately, like, you guys can't be in the room because it's stuff dealing with Chris Brown. Like, we can't have other people hearing it. So I'm like, oh, yeah, like, I get it. So he's like, you guys can wait in the lobby, and I'll come and get you guys when we're done. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we go to the lobby. Now, this hotel is really, really nice. So they're already looking at us like, why are these two girls just sitting out here? So they had like a little like restaurant area. So we were just like sitting over there, grabbed a drink, whatever. So a whole hour goes by, son. Like, I understand that, you know, business meetings may take a while, but like, come on now, like, no text or nothing. And then, by the way, like, Sugar Bear said he was gonna come and get us. Like, what is going on? So I didn't have M's number, but I had Sugar Bear's number. So I text Sugar Bear and I'm like, hey, like, you know, M told us to come out here, but like, it's been a whole hour and people are looking at us like we're weird. Like, what are we supposed to be doing? Like, hello. He never says anything back. So, and this is like 30 minutes later, I'm still looking at my phone like nothing from freaking Sugar Bear. Like, hello, like, what is going on? So now I'm like in panic mode. So I'm calling his phone. Like, I call him like a good like 4 or 5 times and he's not answering. So I was like, oh my gosh. So me and my friend, we're just looking at each other like, we just got played. Like, we just got played. Pretty much, I think like they thought we were gonna be down for the get down, like, you know, trying to mess around with them. And when they saw that we weren't doing that, they pretty much were like, okay, we have to find a way to get these girls out of our room. So Sugar Bear threw us on M, and M was like, okay, I have a business call, and he like kicked us out basically, but try to be nice about it. So we're all the way in Cleveland from Charlotte, North Carolina. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, we didn't drive any cars, nothing. So my friend's like, we need to go tell front desk. So we went up to front desk because at this point, like a whole 2-3 hours have went by and we are still there. So we went up to front desk and we tell them pretty much the whole entire story. So the girls up there, they're like, oh my gosh, like, you guys, like, we'll get you guys something to eat for free on us. Like, gets us something to eat from the little restaurant. We're feeling like a bunch of little, like, homeless people. Like, oh my gosh. So I have to freaking call my boyfriend because my friend was like, I'm not calling my mom. And I was not calling my parents either because I was like, no, like, they're going to be like, what the heck did you do? Like, why did you do that? So I had to freaking call my boyfriend. And, of course, how did y'all think that went? Because that was not a good conversation at all. He's like, what are you doing? Like, why did you jump on the bus? He's thinking I jumped on freaking Chris Brown's tour bus. Like, no, it was his band. But even though, like, still, it just doesn't sound right, but it was not like that. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, no. Like, so I just explained to him, like, I was just not in my right state of mind or whatever. So he's pissed off, but he's like, all right, I'm going to drive from Charlotte, North Carolina to freaking Cleveland. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, thank you. So anyway, so we have to kill mad time between then. So I'm thinking the hotel's gonna be nice and be like, you know what, you guys can stay in a room until like we find, until you guys get your ride. No, they were like, y'all gotta go. Like, this hotel was really, really nice, and I guess we just stood out like a sore thumb. We weren't dressed like, we weren't dressed nasty or like dingy or nothing, but we had on the same clothes from the night before and like our makeup and just everything. It just was not like, no, we had nothing, no bags, nothing. So they were like, yeah, you guys have to go. Like, so we were just like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? So we were like, okay, well, we're about to call the police because like obviously they left us here stranded. Like, what? Sugar Bear never hit me back. Nothing, like nothing. And then they must have went out through another way. I didn't see them like leave, but we did see Chris Brown and his like security guard or whatever like walking on, it was like another entrance or whatever in the hotel, and they were like walking out, and it was already getting late and he had a concert there, so obviously like y'all know what happens, like, so they left us. So we call the police come and they get us. So we tell the police this story and they're like, oh my gosh. One of the police officers, he was like, y'all need to call TMZ. And I was like, no, like, I don't want to do that. Like, first off, TMZ is going to flip it and put on Chris Brown. And like I said before, like, this had nothing to do with him. He probably didn't even know we were there. Like, I didn't want to do that. It was his freaking bandmates, like, not him. So I was just like, no, I don't want to do that or whatever. So they were like, well, we can't let y'all really stay with us. We can't put y'all in jail, like y'all didn't do anything. So we can take y'all to like a woman's shelter until your ride comes. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never been to a woman's shelter. Like, I'm nothing against it, but I was just like, you know, kind of scared because I was like, I've never been there, and like my friend hasn't either. So we were just like, what the world? So I'm like calling my boyfriend. He's like, I'm coming as fast as I can, but like, you called me and I'm all the way in freaking Charlotte. Like, I don't know what more you want me to do. So I was just like, oh my gosh. So we sat a few more hours. So we just, you know, stayed there, but they didn't put us in like a room. They just let us sit like in the hallway area. So anyway, so it was getting late and the shelter was like getting ready, like it's nighttime for them. Like, so they were like, y'all can like come in here and like sleep or whatever, but no, like it was like smelly in there. Like, I didn't want to. So we just stayed outside. So I was like, it was really cold too. Like Cleveland is really, really cold. So, and I didn't think, like, now looking back, I had a friend that lived out there, but like it wasn't going in my mind to just call her. Like, I don't know why. So anyway, so I was just like, okay, he's got, like, I think he was like 2 hours out, so we really didn't have like a lot to wait, but I did not want to wait in the car for 2 hours. So I was like, just what, like, can we meet up at like like, not a hotel, but like, can we meet up at a gas station or something? I was like, that was like an hour out, so that way we could both meet like at the same time, because I'll just call a Lyft and have a Lyft drive us an hour out. And I know that sounds crazy, but like when you're in this position, you don't want to be sitting outside in the cold, and I didn't want to go in there in those rooms. Like, I don't know, I don't trust those. Some of those girls was looking crazy. Like, I don't have time for it. So he was like, all right, so we found a meeting spot. So I called the Lyft driver, and when the Lyft driver came, I told him the story too, because I was just shocked that this even happened. So I was like, look, like, we got to tell you the tea. Like, so we told him, and the Lyft driver was so cool. He felt so bad for us. He stopped at the gas station. He got us something to eat. He got us something to drink. He even had a little, like, a little tree or whatever, but I wasn't smoking. I was like, nah, like, I'm good on everything. Like, I just want to get home. At this point, like, I want to take a shower. Like, I just want to go home. So he drives us a whole hour out. Like, that Lyft ride was like $80, but I mean, it was worth it. When we get to the gas station, my boyfriend like literally pulls up as we pull up, so it was just perfect timing. And then we got in a car, so of course the whole ride my boyfriend's like chewing me out, and at this point I didn't even care. I had the biggest smile on my face. He's like, why are you smiling? I'm like, because I'm going home, like, and never in my life will I ever do this again. Like, no, no, no. Anyway, so of course I had to deal with my boyfriend having an attitude for like a whole week, but I explained everything in full detail to him. And, you know, I apologized to him, and I was just like, you know, this is really stupid. I can admit that, and I would never ever do that again. And we're good now. Like, everything's good. But it was definitely like a little rough patch that we hit. But long story short, don't ever do what I did. Now, like I said, looking back on it, it is funny to me. Like, I cannot believe that we actually put ourselves in a situation like that, and it's definitely something that I'm never going to forget about. And when I'm famous, I am going to remember those two freaking guys, because they were freaking pigs. I cannot believe that they did that to us. Like, we are two innocent girls, and y'all just left us there. But I'd rather them have done that than to like do something worse. So you know, all in all, it was a lesson learned from that. I will never ever put myself in a situation like that again. I was just like under the influence, and also I was thinking I'm like following my dream. So I'm like thinking I'm in a movie, like I'm gonna sing for somebody and they're gonna be like, okay, you're signed. So you know, I wanted to tell this story because it's funny, it's interesting, and also just I want all women to be aware, like, don't hop on anybody's tour bus. Like, don't be like that at all. Definitely be smart about it, because at the end of the day, like, if they don't want you around, they could do something like that and leave you, and then you'll be stranded in the middle of nowhere. And just to prevent from feeling the way that we felt when we were going through it, just don't do it. Like, it's just not worth it. You know, if you are meant to do something, it's gonna happen for you in its own way, and that's not, I don't think that's a way that it's gonna happen, by going to a whole nother state with people you don't know. So but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this story, and if you guys want to hear more story times from me, please comment below. I do have other stories, because my life is a freaking movie. Like, I have other stories I could tell. So like I said, if you want to hear more, comment below. I also will have my social media, so please follow me on there as well, and you guys can DM me. Thanks.